What are algae? We're going to go over this course. We're going to discover that algae are not just little green things. They cover everything from little tiny microscopic green things to giant brown kelp, which are amongst the largest living things on the planet. It's a broad variety, and we're going to cover all the different types, what they're useful for, how you grow them, how you harvest them. If you want to make a business, how you would go about making a business for them. All these commercial items that you buy, toothpaste, ice cream, all these different salad dressings, margarine, what do all these things have in common? They're all made with products that come from algae. So what are algae anyways? Are they pond scum? Is it that slimy green stuff on the inside of your fish tanks? Is it seaweed? Is it phytoplankton? Is it a plant? Yes, it is the pond scum. It is that slimy green stuff on the inside of your fish tanks. It is seaweed. Seaweed are algae. Phytoplankton are algae. Plants are not algae. And algae are not little plants. So algae range in size from being very tiny microscopic life forms to giant ocean kelps. We're going to be discussing how you grow the small, free-living, tiny, single-celled green algae. So this picture of the tree of life shows all eukaryotes, things with a nucleus. As you can see, it's divided into two parts, the uniconts and the biconts. The uniconts have one flagella, the biconts have two. But you can see each of those little ovals on there are organisms that have chloroplasts. All of those are algae except for the land plants. All the rest are considered algae.
Here's an image of a lot of algae. Is this a good thing? Ideally, as an algae farmer, you would want to have this much algae growing to make it easy to harvest. This did not happen on purpose. This was done as a result of pollutants in the water. This is generally not a good thing. When you have these giant blooms of algae, as they decompose, they end up using all the oxygen in the water, then all the fish die. This image shows what happens when we have too much nutrient in the water. It's called a fish kill. This one occurred in 2013 in China. There was a big storm and it washed all the sewage and agricultural runoff from the farms and dairies and untreated manure from pig farms into the river. This provided a lot of nutrients and the algae grew like crazy. Once the algae used up all the nutrient, they died and sank to the bottom of the river. Their decomposition used up all the oxygen in the water, and about 40 kilometers of the river were killed, or about 10 to 20 million fish. We really don't want this to happen. We will also discuss the origin of the plastids later in the class. The chloroplasts inside algae and plants were once free-living cyanobacteria. Through endosymbiosis, the cyanobacteria and a eukaryote made a deal, which was the cyanobacteria kind of said, hey, you give us a nice place to live, and we'll make sugar for you out of CO2 and water and sunlight. This turned out to be a really good deal, and we'll talk about how this happened in a later lecture.
Eventually, we would like to get to this type of system, where algae is being cultivated as part of an art system in the parks. We're using it to treat our water. We're using the algae itself as fertilizer, as a feedstock for nutraceuticals or pharmaceuticals, as a source of pigments for makeup, as food, as fuel. All of this stuff can be done with algae.